good to go with the sound? Okay, I've got some information today about reopenings and that kind of thing, but first of all, I'm going to have the governor address you. He has a number of updates, I think, as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're also joined by our Lieutenant Governor, Diane Primavera. She's a Broomfield resident, was in the pre-evac zone as well. Her neighborhood was fine. Earlier this morning, I toured the Lafayette YMCA, where there are still some evacuees that are housed, some ready to return to their homes waiting for natural gas or water, others who lost their homes and are, like so many people, figuring out what to do next. I also visited the Disaster Assistance Center. This is a one-stop center that we set up at 1755 South Public Road in Lafayette. It's a Boulder County southeast hub. This is where folks who suffered complete loss or had some losses, you can go, and all the resources that you need are in one place. So the major insurers of the homes are there: Allstate, American Family, State Farm, Auto Owners, Shelter, USAA. They're all there. I talked to families who were doing their claims as we speak. They also have gift cards for food. They have lodging vouchers right there for families. They have FEMA and SBA, two other forms of federal assistance, and then a number of nonprofit agencies that have come together. So if you've lost your home, you're going to want to stop by the Disaster Assistance Center between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. any day this week, 1755 South Public Road. It's running smoothly. The families are grateful for the outpouring of community support. On behalf of those families, I want to thank the people of Colorado to really rising to assist those in need who suffered great loss. It was so hard hearing from one family who lost 2 dogs and a cat because they were out at the time. Their animals were home and they weren't able to get back. They lost their home too. And of course, they're worried about that, but what struck them the most is they lost their beloved family pets. There's people who lost everything they had, and there's others that are still waiting to get back to their homes. The natural gas in many of the areas has been restored in the areas that were evacuated but not impacted. There's still some homes in areas where the fires destroyed many of the homes. I met with one family who, they have a home standing in Old Town Superior, mostly destroyed, just a few structures standing. We drove through there the other day, but those structures have significant smoke damage, and it's still unsafe in many areas to return, and of course it'll be a while till full service is restored in some of those areas. United Way, ARC are all there at the center at 1755 South Public Road in Lafayette. So for those who've been impacted, that is the place to go for all your needs. It's running smoothly. There's not large lines. They have vouchers for hotels. They have food. They have whatever you need, and all the community love and support coming your way, as long as FEMA folks from across the country. I met FEMA administrators from Mississippi and Texas and Georgia that are on the job helping people with some of the emergency FEMA help that they can provide. This is going to be a long road back for so many families, and not just those that are directly lost their homes, but those whose homes were damaged and those who don't have a place of work. If you went to work in a business that's no longer there, you can qualify for emergency-related unemployment. You can contact Department of Labor. If you lost your business there, you're going to want to go through SBA in addition to your insurance and the Small Business Development Center. You can also call the Boulder County Public Call Center for help, 303-413-7730. You know, this outpouring of love and support doesn't change the fact that families have lost everything they had. It was hard to see and to hug. You know, some people that I've known for years. I know one woman in Old Town Superior. I've known her for 20 years. She lost her home and everything she had. She actually said she was about to put it on the market anyway, having lived there 29 years. She's about to sell it, and she said this was God's way of moving up her plan. You know, it's that spirit, that spirit of resolve, of getting through. Another lady that I met barely made it out with her life. She didn't want to leave during the pre-evac time. She waited She finally made it out and almost wanted to go back in to save some belongings, but didn't. She suffered some smoke inhalation damage. She's out of the hospital. She's fine, but she's one of the ones that barely made it out, like so many others. There remain 2 people missing. The sheriff will update us on that. It could be some time for any confirmation there, but it is just remarkable that in a fire of this speed and size in the area it was, that there's only 2 people missing. And that also, should be really a warning to all of us. When you get a pre-evac or evacuation notice, hop to it, right? Hop to it, and the residents of Louisville and Lafayette and Superior did, and most of them are with us today and have their most important possession, that's their lives and their health, and they're committed to work to rebuilding. We're doing everything we can to ease the challenges for those who lost everything. The one-stop center, it flows quickly. It's easy to get the help you need. You meet with your insurance company, you meet with FEMA, you get the short-term help. There's cash cards available, lodging vouchers. And the folks there who lost everything were very grateful to the community and wanted me to convey their gratitude for everybody coming together to help them. Thank you for your support for the families affected and your friends affected and our community. And with that, I'll turn it over to the sheriff.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here, and thank you, Governor Polis, for joining us and all the support that we've had so far. We sincerely appreciate it. I have a couple of updates on reentries. Later today, we will be reopening downtown Superior to residents and business owners. We're also optimistic that we'll be opening Spanish Hills subdivision by end of day. More details will be shared about reentry of this area when we have them available, but they're going to be issued and posted on our OEM website, boulderoem.com. Our teams continue to assess conditions in communities that will allow reentry of residents as soon as it's safe. For the latest updates on reentry, please be sure to visit our website, look at our maps. It's as updated as quickly as we make a decision and as quickly as so it's updated regularly. People returning to their homes may be dealing with spoiled food, water-damaged household items, that kind of thing. So the county's going to begin placing dumpsters from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. They're going to be placed throughout Superior, Louisville, and the county. And you can also find their locations on our website, boulderoem.com. Keep in mind that dumpsters are dedicated for the collection and disposal of spoiled food and water-damaged household items. We really don't want them filled up with debris from the windstorm, branches, that kind of thing. In regard to missing persons, we are still attempting to locate 2 people. We are actively working at 2 scenes. It is very, very difficult work given the debris, the heat, that kind of thing, and essentially working by hand and with small tools to try to get through those locations. As soon as we have any updates on that, I'll let you know. The investigation into the cause of the fire is ongoing. It's being supported by experts from the Forest Service who are experienced and highly talented in investigating major fires in other states. And I don't have any updates on that investigation right now other than to say it is in full force and full swing. I have an update from Comcast. Comcast could not be here today, but they asked me to share some information. Since Saturday, Comcast crews were allowed to access the fire-impacted area. They've been working hard and diligently and as safely as possible to begin making repairs to their network. There was damage to their infrastructure that serves residences, businesses in the fire-impacted area, which are causing some customers to experience power outage or non-power outage related loss of service. Repairs are in progress, and about 40% of the customers who are experiencing non-power related outages should have their services already restored. Comcast crews will continue assessing and making repairs. and they expect more impacted customers to have their Comcast service restored today and tomorrow. People can go to their website, coloradocomcast.com, for more information about their services. I'm going to turn it over to Chief Hayes. We will take some questions when we're all done.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Hayes. I'm the police chief in Louisville. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to the governor for being here. I just have a couple of updates from Louisville. Damage assessments continue in Louisville. We're still continuing to work with the cadaver dog to work. We've got the whole north side of Louisville done. We're now working on the south side. We do not currently have any missing persons in Louisville. That doesn't mean that we won't find something, but no missing persons that we're aware of, and we're certainly thankful for that. We are continuing to get some questions about donations, and we appreciate the outpouring of support from throughout the country and probably throughout the world. The best place for those, again, to go is the Boulder Office of Emergency Management. I think there's an icon that you can click on for donations. If you would please make a donation there. There's also been a report that in Louisville that we had from one of our fire protection districts that we had a fire truck damaged. We checked this morning with that fire protection district, and I think it was a deputy chief that we spoke with, and that appears to be unfounded. We wanted to share that with you. Also, Kennedy Avenue, if you look at our current map, I think it's now been updated for the city of Louisville. Kennedy Avenue is now in a soft close area. I'm sure there's information on the Boulder Valley School District website in terms of their opening this week. So this morning we met with school officials, with county officials at the incident command, and I believe that school district is still planning on opening. In regards now specifically to the city of Louisville, as you know, we have a number of both soft closures and hard closures. Currently in our soft closure area, you stop and talk to one of the kind officers that are there to explain why you're there, and you're kind of on your way. But at some point we've had lots of people waiting in line, and we don't want to add to that frustration. So we're going to be going to a resident access pass. So starting tomorrow morning and all day tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Ascent Church, which is located at 550 McCaslin Boulevard. City residents can come in and either tell us that they are the victim of a fire, or if they've still have a driver's license or a utility bill. But in any way, we're going to make sure that they leave with a pass that will enable them to get past the roadblocks or the kind officers that are there. The hard closures are still closed for safety reasons, but we thought we would speed this up with a resident only pass, as it were. Speaking of passes, I think the school district, I believe, is going to be releasing something. I think they're also going to have a pass program for parents that are taking kids to and from school. As you know, in Boulder Valley schools, we have open enrollment, so we have parents kind of coming from all over. So we identified routes this morning for the Louisville schools, and I believe the county schools as well, of what would be open for parents. And then I think in the event they do have to go through a soft closed area, that the school district will issue them passes, either because their parents bringing kids to and from, or in the case of high school students, so they can get to and from Monarch High School. So I think that's all I have, and I'll step aside now for see what's next, Chair. Thank you.
So I'd like to introduce Boulder County Commissioner Matt Jones, who wants to say a few words.
Hello, everybody. My name is Matt Jones. I'm a Boulder County Commissioner. I live in Louisville. The day of the fire, I got a call from Sheriff Pelley that we had 2 fires going on, and he was more concerned about the one in Marshall. I drove up to Davidson Mesa. Some of you might know where the overlook is, into the valley. You can see over towards Marshall there. Almost was knocked down several times by the wind, and realized it was really bad. I used to do wildland fire work. I realized it was really bad and decided time to get home. In that time frame, my wife gets an evacuation call. There is a brown plume like you're on a wildland fire holding crew, right coming through with high winds. soot, you open the garage door and soot would start coming on the floor. We're still dealing with that. And on top of that, I was asked to sign an emergency declaration. I've done work around forest health and wildfire mitigation and done that work myself, and I never thought my town of Louisville would be at risk like that. And I've seen plenty of cars backed into mountain homes loading up their stuff, and I thought I'd never be there, and I was. And pulling all that together is quite the experience. I hope you never have to go through it. We did a pretty good job. Our 21-year-old cats did pretty well. That was a highlight for us. And we got out. And then we just didn't know, like everybody else, what happened if your home was still there or not. We were lucky. We came back and our subdivision was intact. The next subdivision west was not. Houses burned there. But we're lucky. We were watching the XL truck go up and down the street going, our house, turn on our natural gas, as you might imagine. But there are so many people, friends, acquaintances, people I don't know, that have lost their home and all their possessions. And it's just heart-wrenching. And you're always trying to figure out the best way to help people. And so I'm doing that on my individual level, but we're on to recovery. Boulder County has a lot of experience with this, which is good and bad at the same time. 4-mile fire in 2010, 169 structures burned, or houses burned. 2013 flood. Cold Springs fire in 2016. Every 3 years, basically, it seems, unfortunately. But we're going to do a great job at that. I mean, this emergency recovery center is an example of that. You learn by doing, and we're getting much better. And I got to say, it's our staff. I mean, I've been in this spot for a couple of years now. My colleagues have been in it for a year, I guess 3, and they've been in 1. But our staff holds this thing down and makes it happen, and they're just phenomenal. But there are a couple things I realized when I was driving away from our home. One was the patience and grace of all the people getting evacuated. People were kind, polite, letting people in, because it was all getting out. And that's part of the reason I think so many people did well getting out. The second thing I noticed was all the mutual aid response from other jurisdictions, fire departments, law enforcement. Just leaving the house, I saw Longmont Fire, Lafayette Fire, North Metro Fire. Those are pretty much our neighbors. But Poudre Valley was there, Colorado Springs was there, Vail was there, Brush was there. You go through it, and it was phenomenal. It saved homes. I have no doubt about it. And I just want to thank them so much for doing this work. But we're onto the road recovery. When the flood happened, I was in the state senate. I was on the Flood Matters Review Committee, and we pushed to get help with local jurisdictions with half the match. And I'm looking forward to working with the state. We're already doing that, as you could tell. Governor Polis was talking about the recovery center, because people don't want to know who's doing stuff. They just want to have things fixed, right? And that's what we're shooting for, to provide that service. So looking forward to trying to help people as you can. Just proud as can be of what our county does and the staff does to make to meet the needs of people that are in probably one of the most horrible places in their life. I start thinking about my friends. But we've been here before. We will come back through again. And it's going to take all of us, and I just appreciate everybody doing that together. Thanks for your time.
The Disaster Assistance Center that we spoke of earlier was being thought of and stood up as the fire was burning. And the man that manages it is Gary Sampson from the Boulder County government. Gary.
Thanks, Sheriff Billy. It's good to be here. I want to thank the governor for coming to the Disaster Assistance Center today. He stole my thunder, basically all my talking points, so I appreciate that. But I'm here as a Boulder County staff person, as the disaster recovery manager. I've been in this position since 2010, and I want to share some of the lessons learned that we've learned, that hopefully help some of the folks going through this process. I want to first extend a heartfelt sympathy to all the folks who were evacuated in Louisville, Superior, and unincorporated Boulder County. I know this is a lot of different emotions come up in these types of events, whether it's, you feel almost numb, you can't move, anger, you're short fuse. Those are all normal. I want to just really normalize that's okay, and you're going to go through that throughout this recovery. The other piece around this is recovery as we move into this phase is a marathon. You're going to hear this a lot. It's not a sprint. And so what we want to really urge folks who've been affected by this is to take care of yourself. Do the things in your family that take care of yourself. Get back into those normal routines. Get your kids back in schools, sporting activities, continue to do your hobbies, exercise. Self-care is critical in this effort. The other parts I really want to emphasize is one, contact your insurance company. That should be the next step. Start that process, because that is a lengthy process. As the governor said, there are insurance companies at the Disaster Assistance Center. You can also do it online. Second, go to FEMA, either online or at the Disaster Assistance Center, and register. That's also a lengthy process for finding out what kind of financial aid is available. Third, go to the Disaster Assistance Center. I want to be clear, it's going to be open for a couple weeks, so there's no huge sense of urgency to get over there today or tomorrow or this week. Remember, take care of yourself, get your kids back in school. The center will be open from 9 to 7 days a week. And go register, because there's a lot of there's at least right now over 20 different organizations there that provide additional services to what FEMA and the state can provide. And then go to our website. We've now launched a recovery website. It's boco.org/marshallfire. That's boco.org/marshallfire. That's in addition to the OEM website. You should keep both those on your bookmarks. And go there to find out what are all the different resources. And that'll be constantly updated. I guess the last thing I'll just say is really want to appreciate the Boulder community, our friends throughout the state and the nation, and the generous contributions they've made to the recovery. Please continue to do so. There's never enough funding to support folks in their recovery, and it's going to take a long time. So thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you.
And finally, we have the president of Xcel Energy Colorado here to give us an update on energy.
Thank you, Sheriff, and good afternoon, everyone. As I did yesterday, I will start with an update on the electric service in the area and then move to an update on the gas services. So we've made great progress in the past 24 hours, and I'm happy to report that outside of the burn path, the primary storm restoration wrapped up last night. And our electric emergency operations are complete in this area for the storm, the wildfire, and the snowstorm that came through. Inside the burn path, we are continuing diligent home-by-home, business-by-business assessment at this time. We currently have 400 customers that remain without electric service inside of that burn path area, and we expect the majority of these to be unable to receive service. However, our crews are currently in the field, walking premise by premise, lot by lot, to identify which of these 400 structures can possibly receive that service. We still have more than 200 electric crews in the field today, continuing to work on these activities, and we expect to be complete with the electric service assessments and any actions to restore service and provide restoration to these customers in the burn area by end of day Thursday. Moving over to the gas side of the business. As of this morning, we've also had some great progress from last night. As of right now, roughly 5,000 customers of the 13,000 originally interrupted have been restored service in the wildfire area. Today, we have roughly 550 crews in the field. This includes our own employees, it includes contractors from the region, and it also includes those mutual aid assistance partners that have come from across the country to support our communities here in Colorado. We are working closely with the police and the fire department to work through areas where we are ready to relight to make sure that those overlap with areas where our customers and our community citizens can get back to their homes and their businesses. Yesterday, I mentioned that there are 3 steps that we must complete to successfully restore natural gas service to our customers. As of this morning, we have successfully completed the first 2 steps across all 9 of the identified regions. To reiterate, what this means is that the step number 1 of going home by home, business by business, and turning off the meters and the service to each of those customers has been complete. Step number 2, where we have to purge the natural gas system and then repressurize that system with natural gas, has also been complete. The third step, of course, is returning to each of those businesses and those homes once again in order to relight their pilot lights in the homes and to reestablish service to the meters and to those customers. We're in the process of doing that across our customer base. Relights have now initiated in all of the 9 regions that have been identified across the service territory. Once again, we are collaborating very closely with the police and the fire department for the evacuation zones versus non-evacuation zones to make sure that we are able to relight those in an efficient process. At the end of the day, what we need from our customers is in order to relight your home or your business, we do have to have an individual that is 18 years or older at the premise, and it is incredibly helpful to have your water service restored by the time that we come by so that we can light your pilot light in your hot water heaters. Each day, we do start the relight process at approximately 7 a.m., and we continue knocking on doors in the relight process through approximately 10 o'clock at night. If somebody is not home, it's okay. We will leave you a door hanger, and that door hanger will give you instructions on how to contact us in order for us to be able to send a crew back by in order to come and relight your home. We also do that after hours. So for some reason, you get home and you would like us to come by after 10 o'clock, all you have to do is call the number on the door hanger or call our customer service line, and we will roll a crew to come to your location in order to relight your home. As of right now, we have completed a pass for all relights in Region 6 and Region 8. If you reside in either Region 6 or Region 8 and you are without natural gas, we ask that you do please call our customer service line. If you are not in Region 6 or Region 8, you do not need to make that phone call unless you have the door hanger on your door. We've continued handing out space heaters at the 2 locations in the service territory, and we are up again and running once again today. As of last night, we had handed out roughly 20,000 space heaters across the service territory. Hopefully these space heaters are providing a little bit of hope and comfort as we continue to do the relight process. We appreciate all the stories and the connections and the information that people are bringing back to us as they come through the lines, and our hearts go out to the community citizens that are going through this terrible and tough time. But we look forward to helping you rebuild and be able to thrive as we go forward. We will communicate later today if we will continue the space heater handout tomorrow. As you can imagine, as customers are getting back in and relights are happening, the numbers of people coming by for those space heaters are dwindling and going down. So we'll continue to assess the need to continue that into tomorrow, and we will let everyone know by end of day today if we will continue that process tomorrow. In closing, I want to say thank you. First of all, to our customers and our communities for your patience, for your partnership. We know these times are tough, and we're not quite through them yet. But together we will rebuild and we will continue forward. I've heard firsthand from our crews in the field of your graciousness as they are doing their work safely, methodically, and as quickly as they possibly can. You come out, you say hello, you give them encouragement. Sometimes you even bring them a glass of water, which has been really nice to see. Second, to our community leaders, you are doing an absolutely wonderful job. As we all do, we reflect on our actions that we take during these tough times. And as good emergency responders, we'll do our hot washes at the end of it and find ways to do even better the next time around. But I have been so incredibly impressed, and our company has been so incredibly impressed with this community and how they've come together and how they've responded in this time of need. Last and certainly not least, to our utility partners and our own crews in the field. I know you're tired, and I know this has been hard. Standing there and seeing the community impact is difficult. But I have to say thank you. Thank you for your efforts. Please, please continue to take the warm breaks. Make sure you are getting adequate rest, and look out for each other, because it's incredibly important for us to stay safe always. Thank you.
Yeah. We can take a few questions. And Alice, thank you. This morning at the Lafayette YMCA, there was a steady folks flowing through, picking up those heaters, and that means a lot to folks. Gary, thank you for your great work with the county as well. We've had there, as Matt pointed out, fair share of disasters, and this county has really been a great example of leadership. For any of our speakers today, we're happy to take some questions.
Governor, you talked a lot about the response and helping people right now. Clearly that's important, but your perspective on the urgency of finding the cause, the origin, and
Yeah.
if somebody did it, holding the
Yeah. Well, your question talked about the urgency of finding it. What's most important is getting it right. So whether it takes a week, a month, or 2 months, getting it right is the most important. There's outside help from FBI, from other resources that are on the ground working closely with the sheriff. There's no one in the state better than Sheriff Pelley to get it right. And that's exactly what they're going to do in the coming days and weeks, and if needed, months.
A follow-up, the sheriff, is the 12 tribes compound or property part of that investigation still?
It is, and it will be, and that's widely known and understood. So is the area around it. So we haven't eliminated or honed in or on any one specific thing. It's an open investigation. We're going to do it right. It's going to take some time. You're going to lose your patience because it's going to take a while. And we're going to get the right people with the right expertise. The snow's going to melt. We're going to be able to see better. Things are going to happen. So we're going to do it well, and we're going to take our time and be methodical because the stakes are huge.
Sheriff, have you been able to locate the point of origin, and if so, what is its location in relation to that shed that was?
It's an open investigation, and that work is in progress.
Are you able to confirm to recover evidence? Can you share what type of evidence you've recovered? If you've recovered it?
No, I'm not going to comment specifically about this investigation, about evidence, about interviews, about anything else until we're ready to announce some progress, and perhaps that may be a week, perhaps that may be a month.
Sheriff, we spoke to somebody on the ground today who said they were close to that property and they saw what looked like an electrical supply line hanging. Have you completely ruled out that this was power line caused?
We have determined that that big line that's hanging there is a telecom line and shouldn't be capable of starting a fire.
What about on the 12 tribes property?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. And again, I'm going to stick to my guns. This is an open investigation. We're getting the right kind of help. It's going to take a while. You're going to lose your patience with me. But hopefully in weeks or a month or 2 months, we'll be able to tell you what happened and why, and it'll be good, accurate information. And that is more important than the urge or for speed that a lot of folks are feeling right now.
Have you been able to say or determine where was the very first location that a fire truck responded that day?
I'm sure we can get that information by interviewing those fire crews, and I'm positive my folks are doing all that.
Any concerns about air quality?
I'm not aware of any air quality concerns right now. I think, the vast majority of those concerns were scrubbed away by that nice foot of snow that we got.
Sheriff, we've heard from an awful lot of people who say that they did not get any sort of notification about evacuation. They say they didn't get a reverse 911, they didn't get any sort of notification. How did you notify people, and did you rule out sending out one of those EAS alerts to everyone's phone in the area?
So we launched a system called Everbridge, and it works in several ways. It notifies landlines, it notifies voice over internet phones that are registered with the system, and it notifies cell phones that are registered with the system. If you have a landline phone, it's automatically registered to receive notifications. If the landline fails and there's no connectivity to that phone, then those messages fail. If you have a cell phone or a VoIP line, voice over internet, you have to be entered and create an account through a self-registration portal. The address must be, there must be an address provided for every account, and the link to sign up for that is on that website we've been talking about all day, boulderoem.com. All landlines, including CenturyLink, Comcast, and Xfinity, are automatically uploaded into the system quarterly. And anyone in Boulder County, including communities in the municipalities, Louisville, can sign up to receive emergency alerts by voice, text, or email. If you believe you should have received an alert, please call our call center so they can investigate that. 303-413-7730, and that call line number is for all things fire related, 303-413-7730.
Do you know how many people got notifications successfully through the system?
I can get that information for you, or you can ask for, through an open records request, but they'll be able, the communication center will be able to tell you because they have all that data, they track that.
Sheriff, asking you to take us behind the curtain a little bit here. The first 36 hours, you appeared fairly confident that the cause was a down power line. What led you to that confidence, and then when was the moment when you realized you needed to backtrack, and what led to that decision?
So my confidence in the first day or two was the fact that fire crews were calling out they had a down power line when they arrived. That was radio traffic that I heard in my ears. So that was my confidence. That changed when crews from XL Energy and fire investigators went to the scene and determined that the lines that they found that were down were telecom lines and not power lines. And so that's when we tried to correct the information and make sure we weren't pointing fingers. And that's why this sheriff is being very careful right now about pointing any more fingers until we get this figured out factually and for sure.
Can you give us an idea of how many witnesses you're talking to, your investigators talk to at this point that have their perspective, and how consistent is that perspective?
So what I've seen today coming in and out of this building meeting with these investigators are dozens of people.
Same story, or stories that are very...
I'm not talking about this, stories. I'm telling you, they're interviewing dozens of people.
Next question. You mentioned that the FBI and the ATF were helping. Could you explain their role?
Sure. The FBI has agents in this building. They help us a lot on investigations. And when it becomes an all hands on deck and we have to interview lots and lots of people and do a lot of things, and take on a lot of tests, they help us. ATF has expertise in fire investigations and certified fire investigators. The Forest Service is helping us, and they have people who work exclusively and have a tremendous amount of knowledge in investigating fires involving the wildland-urban interface and how those fires start and spread. So we're enlisting any and all aid that we need from our federal partners.
Sheriff, can I go back to the alerts for a moment? What would stop you from sending out one of those alerts that go to anyone regardless of if they've opted into a program?
So the way that is set up, we have our county divided into polygons, and those polygons are all numbered. In the old days, we used to say, send an alert to everybody north of Arapahoe and south of whatever, but now we have numbered polygons. We all have maps of those, and we're able to say launch emergency notification for evacuation in 12, 13, 16.
But that's for people logged in, right?
That's for people who have a landline in that polygon, or for people who have opted in with their cell phone or their voice over internet phone. All right. I think we're probably covered everything sufficiently, so thank you very much.